What's going on? So I'm just doing a test live stream. I'm This is the first time I've ever gone live on this channel. This is my Mark Dreams Trip Report channel. Whether I keep it depends on the conversation. It depends on what I want to talk about. But I've been live streaming on my other channel, so I wanted to just kind of, you know, live stream on this channel. This is gonna be more of a psychedelic like conversation, I guess, because of the channel. But you never know where the conversation goes after you get high as fuck and you just start rambling and chilling and shit. So, but yeah, what do you guys want? I'm gonna get some weed. I was just about to say, like, the universe. I was about to say, if you guys have any questions, just feel free to ask. If you guys smoke weed, feel free to pack the bong up, pack the bowl up, get the blunt rolled, get the joint ready. And yeah. I need to get a lighter real quick, so hold on. Yeah. All right. Right off the bat, well, I was gonna say because it's late, didn't think anybody was gonna really be in here because it's my other channel, and But do you work with deities? Yes and no. Yes, but not consciously. Meaning, like, I just kind of look at the plants as my deities. The plants help me and guide me with their consciousness, with their molecules. Right now, my body and brain is producing a certain amount of molecules, dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, and a bunch of other shit to have me work. My memories, what I like, the things that I enjoy. It's all based on body chemistry, it's molecules. Plants contain molecules as well that I feel like it's kind of like their body molecules. I just believe plants are alive. So, like, I look at it as all the entities that I've met in DMT space, all the entities that I've met with psychedelics, all of it's still all, right? Because deities, entities, gods, all this other shit, it's still you. Um, it's not that the brain is producing this, because I hate when people be like, or those visuals that you see on psychedelics, well, that could be just your brain producing it. It could be. It's like, no, the human mind, the human flesh cannot create ideas like that or trips like that or whatever. We're not seeing pink elephants. This isn't like what they say in the movies. In the movies, they always suggest the person tripping balls is seeing pink elephants, but no. But hold on, let me get a drink. Where the fuck's that cup? Now I'm gonna hit the bong. But the only deity that I did work with for a while, and I don't know what it was really, is Mother Ayahuasca, and I called it that because it was this female entity that would like always come to me on almost every trip that I had with DMT, and every trip, obviously, I experienced it with ayahuasca. I experienced something there with LSA. I think that with each different molecule, it just has a different personality, just like each different human being has a different personality. And I think that these things are consciously aware. Like right now, I'm about to smoke, but I'm not just getting high. A high is just the cannabis plant allowing me to feel and see the world through its eyes. But I want to play some like music. Fuck yeah. Smoke. That shit sparked high. I was gonna go live earlier, but I was in a live stream myself. Like I was watching a live stream. I don't know if you guys know who DMT Infinity is. He has a he's another psychedelic YouTuber. I fucks with his content and his perspective. So like, yeah, I was in there. The universe asks, do you meditate while high? I tend to see people with distinct alien-like features. So it's been a little while since I've had a visual meditation, because it's been a little while since I've sat my ass down long enough to have a visual meditation. I'm usually always high. Well, at this point in my life, right now, I'm usually always high. I used to take kratom every day, 3-4 times a day since 2016, but it's been 6 months since I've used kratom. And the only thing I do every day now, plant-wise, the only plant I do is cannabis. Like it's just a daily practice. But right now I'm smoking cannabis and shatter. I don't know if I can show you guys this shatter. Probably not. It's not gonna fucking come off the goddamn page. I'm trying to show y'all this shatter because this shit is beautiful. That ain't working. But cannabis, I feel like plants are just tools, and like you can misuse a tool or you can use a tool correctly. It's just all based on the person using the tool. I think it's interesting that you see distinct alien-like features, with people with alien-like features. When I smoke DMT, sometimes some of the light beings, the like noodle light beings, they have like these antenna things on their heads, or it looks what I perceive as antenna-like things on their heads. I've met many different entities and beings through the DMT space, but what I mean by it's all me anyways, it's all us, because DMT, when you do it with psychedelics, so there's many forms of meditation, but I believe that DMT is meditating. Smoking DMT is meditating. Taking LSD is meditating. Like all these are forms of meditation. Meditating is meditating, but like all of these are different forms of meditation. And I think that what a meditation really is the ability to touch the other. I think us not being in contact, as a society, as a human species, not being in contact with what we actually are, I feel like is our issue. I think when you meditate, you can actually start feeling the connection. Just like when you take psychedelics, you can start feeling the connection. You start feeling the connection to a higher thing, and you start disconnecting from this flesh, meaty machine thing that you're in and that you think you are, and you start kind of getting closer to what you really are. Because some people look at, there's a lot of different ways to go about the spiritual journey. You can go about the spiritual journey in an aspect where you don't want to use substances, so you just meditate. But you can meditate for 30 years, right, to get this awakening moment. Or you can smoke DMT for 10 minutes to get this awakening moment. There is no right or wrong way. There is only the way. There is only the way that works for you, the path, the Tao, the oneness, the is what it is, there is only what it is. And I think the ability to, for me, I've had meditations where I've been able to just like meditate. So I'd sit there and like meditate and have a visual meditation. I have a trip report on this channel about my visual meditation. It was like, it was almost like a psychedelic trip. It was weird, but because it was very visual, I was awake. I wasn't sleeping. I was awake, but I was going through this visual experience. And it was interesting. I've had experiences where I've basically tripped while sober, like moments of I don't know what they call it. I don't know if they call it Satari or uh, moments of Kundalini. I don't know. We're like, you ever heard people talk about if they were doing yoga and they get into a certain yoga pose and all of a sudden they kind of start tripping? Well, that happened to me in a way as well. And I think all of this stems from the fact that we have a universe inside of us, and that because we have a universe inside of us, we're able to access this thing at certain points as long as we can disconnect in the correct manner. So as long as we can separate, and turn the dial, because that's all it takes is turning the dial. Psychedelics turn the dial. Certain, like right now, my consciousness is on a different level than it was before I smoked the weed, right? So it's like consciousness goes up and down on levels. I think a lot of times we get caught into trying to think that the normal consciousness is the way to go, but there is no normal consciousness. You're on drugs every single second of the day. If something really good happened to you today, then your dopamine levels are probably raised up. If something really bad happened to you today, it's the opposite. It's like these are all based on how much we call them neurotransmitters to mask what they really are. We call alcohol to mask what it really is. These things are drugs. So I think because these things are drugs, everything is drugs. The only reason we exist in this reality right now is because of the drugs that are flowing through our brain for us to even be here, for our body to work correctly. I think there's multiple ways to get to the perspective. But yeah. Where the fuck? Fucking, you probably can't even hear Spangle in the background, but like, I'm just in here jamming the Spangle. The way I look at it is sober is a myth. Prove to me that it exists. Now that's a fucking conspiracy theory. Prove to me that sober exists. That there's no drug molecules flowing through your brain whatsoever. You can't, because obviously we're ran by drugs. I think it's all one and the same. I found my moment through pain. See, that's the thing. I think we have to find our moment through it all, right? If people meditate, they have to find their moment find it through meditation. They have to find it through pain. They have to find it through life. Because if somebody's done a psychedelic or not, they're tripping balls every day. Because every single day, this fucking world we live in is the craziest thing ever. It's the craziest thing ever that we are organic, walking, talking monkeys that live on a rock floating in the infinite space of nothingness, right? Like, that's insane. So I agree that I found a lot of my shit through pain as well, but I've almost become addicted to pain because I like to grow. I like to learn. Maybe that's why DMT is my favorite substance out of every psychedelic I've ever done. It's maybe not the most pleasurable. LSD is definitely the most fun, wild, pleasurable substance. But DMT is the one that impacted me the most. And I feel like because of that, it's the one that really is close to my heart, but DMT also punches you in the fucking face, knocks you the fuck out. So because DMT knocks you the fuck out, it kind of like, I like that shit. I like being knocked the fuck out by reality, because it's how I've grown fast. It's how I evolve fast. I evolve fast because I'm able to go through pain and not have that pain devour me, but I devour the pain to get a little stronger. Skylar Crook says, yo, I've been watching your videos and I've made the decision to become a psychonaut. I have no meaning of life, and family banned me from my family, and I'm out of work from Corona. Skylar Christopher, my life psychonaut journey, I plan to do Datora as the finish line. For real, knocked the fuck out by reality is for real. Now, the only advice I'd give is I have never done Datora, and I really don't have any want or need to ever do Datora. It's not my thing. Terrence McKenna is the one that got me towards psychedelics in the first place, right? If it wasn't for the way that he spoke about them, I would have never done psychedelics. But the way he spoke about Datora is also one of the reasons why I stayed away from Datora. That it's not a thing of magic and wonder and beauty and journey. It's a thing of confusion and terror and unknown terror, right? Because you're unaware of the terror when you're going through these things. You're not seeing beautiful geometrical colors and patterns and other dimensions of light and magic. You're seeing a world of hell. You know, all the trip reports I've fucking heard of Datora have been horrible. Like, you know, you see people that aren't there that are bleeding out of their eyes, and people are like, there's blood leaking from the couch. This one guy, there's only one experience that had me slightly interested, but I was like, I'm not willing to go through this shit because fuck that. He was sitting on the couch, then he would open his eyes. He was at his friend's house. He'd close his eyes. He's at someone else's house, but on a couch, but it's a different couch. Open his eyes. He's on a different couch. Close his eyes on a different couch. And it just kept going like that. And that's like, and I'm down for the madness and all, but I feel like LSD and LSA and Hawaiian People Woodrow seeds, like that's the type of madness I prefer, is the LSD madness, not the, if I'm going to go mad, I'm going to go mad with some LSD. If I'm gonna like, because DMT isn't maddening at all. Like, it's not. The one thing I've noticed about certain things have certain things, and so Datora is not even a psychedelic; it's a deliriant. It's the traditional psychedelics are mushrooms, ayahuasca, DMT, LSD, Hawaiian People Woodrow seeds, morning glories. Those are all the ones I can think off the top of my head. I guess mescaline as well, but mescaline, yeah, I would say mescaline as well, which is San Pedro and peyote. And then there's salvia, but that's not a traditional psychedelic, because all the traditional psychedelics that I mentioned, they all attach to the 5-HT2A receptors, which is a type of serotonin receptor that just, that's kind of where the magic comes from. The Datora contains scopolamine, and the receptor it attaches to, I'm just not interested, right? This is, and as a psychonaut over the years, I've been able to like just kind of analyze things like that, right? Analyze things like in the beginning of most psychonauts' journeys, right? In the beginning of most people's journeys, a lot of what I've realized, like, or what I've observed, right, just from just talking to a lot of people, listening to a lot of trip reports and all this other shit, right? What I've observed is that a lot of people start with nutmeg, morning glories, I don't know, the Datora, the typical things that people usually start with, because these are typical things you can easily get. It's not that like somebody's growing Datora down the street, you know, like I can, you know, morning glories are easy to get. All these other things are easy to get. But I don't know. The best thing that happened to me was the first psychedelic I ever tried was salvia, and it was smoked. And that was the scariest, fucking worst psychedelic I've ever done. Still to this day, I don't like it when it's smoked. It's really uncomfortable. It's the worst thing ever. Fuck that shit. When taken sublingually, though, through the mouth. Um, and held in the mouth, whether it's through a salvia tincture or by chewing the salvia leaves, it has a more beautiful effect to it. And that works on the kappa opioid receptors, I'm pretty sure, which the kappa opioid receptors are psychedelic, and the mu opioid receptors are the ones that heroin attaches to. And it's like, that's what I started getting into. I didn't know any, like everything I just said, I knew none of this. Like 2-3 years ago, I don't know, 4 years ago, maybe now, by now, like I knew nothing about this. But in the beginning of the journey, you find your way. And sometimes you have to try something you don't like to get to the thing you do like, because me being a psychonaut, I've tried 30, probably many different plants, right? But it's like, I don't do most of these plants and probably won't do most of these plants ever again. Some plants, I just didn't fuck with. Some of them were too boring. Some of them were too not my thing. Some of them were too this or not enough this, or, there's some of them just gave a weird feel, it's just, and I was just exploring. Some of them I really liked along the way. The ones that I really liked along the way, the ones that I found were the ones that contained aporphine alkaloids, the ones that were a little slightly trippy. I do, if I'm going to do an opioid in any way, it's going to be kratom or one of kratom's relatives, like Michigan hirsuta or javanica. There's like, just, let me see what's going on in the chat. I'm going to do the let's see what I I'm going to do the Torah too. I'm going to prepare. So, see, if I was going to ever do the Torah, I'd definitely have to have a trip for that one, because you don't know what's real or not. And I don't know, it's just not my thing. I'm more of into tryptamines. And I guess lysergamides too. I ordered the stuff out of the videos you talked about, and I've reached a lot too, but I'm going to sit down and listen. Yeah, but bro, I think if you can go through the pain like you said, it would be sick as fuck. Are you talking about all this stuff out? I don't know what videos you're talking about. Maybe you're talking about the seeds, because realistically, I've been going in with Wine Baby Woodrow seeds. My stomach just felt bad. My head felt good, euphoric, calm, and light in a good way. My whole body felt. That was weird. I peaked. All right, so Knives Gaming and Records says, first my stomach just felt bad. My head felt good, euphoric and calm and light in a good way. My whole body felt light. Walking was weird. Music sounded nice. In a few hours, I peaked. I could barely walk. I was shaky, kind of. I kept rubbing my fingers together. I could feel all my arm muscles more, all the way to my shoulders. I could feel my body functioning. I felt the hair on my arms existing and growing, and colors were slightly brighter. I saw very light visuals. I took 200 morning glory seeds. Fuck yeah. Sounds like a nice trip. See, for me, I'm all into the closed eye visuals of the Hawaiian Baby Woodrow seeds and the morning glories. I like the I guess I like the outside visuals when I can get them to be there, when they're there, when it's there. But I just prefer to just lay down and accept it, and try to make sure it's on a day where I'm not tired, because I don't want to just go to sleep. But so sometimes maybe I'll just sit up, right, instead of just straight lay down. But if I just straight lay down on my back with my hands on my side, it helps me travel more. remove existence from this world, and but there's many Hawaiian Buddha seed experiences where I've just vibed as well, like just had some music playing and kind of just was just vibing. Mushrooms occasionally. I've done acid twice. 700 micro. That's dope though. I want to try as much shit as possible to be experienced for the crazy stuff where I live in BC, Canada. Everyone does acid and mushrooms and weed and shatter and Xanax. I've only done weed every day. Skylar Crook says. See, everyone around here is like a bunch of fucking, like, everyone's starting to trip more, and a lot of people around here do like drugs. Like meth kind of took over where I'm at, and it's like I don't do shit like that, but but I think it's not necessarily because you'll never be ready for anything. Like for me, it's so funny that I did salvia first, DMT second for my second psychedelic, and then I had about 20-30 DMT trips before ever like doing LSD or mushrooms or anything else, right? And I was scared. The funny, hilarious thing is I was scared of LSD because when my friend Phi was telling me about LSD and I was saying DMT's my thing, LSD was his thing. He was trying to get me to try it, and I was thinking it was going to be like a 12-hour DMT trip or something where I'm like fucking completely blasted, shattered for 12 hours. And I didn't, because I've never done at this point, I didn't do any psychedelic that wasn't like 5 to 15 minutes long. So I was expecting a shattering experience the whole time, like salvia or like DMT does, but come to find out it wasn't like that at all. But it wasn't. It was much more manageable. I could walk around, I can observe this world and that world at the same time. And the psychedelics where you can walk around on, it's more like the psychedelic world is starting to drip into this third dimension that we are in. And when you take DMT or like something like salvia or smoked salvia, you are literally, or even 5-MeO DMT, you're literally just gone. You're blasted. You're not here. You're into that world. Instead, you're completely out of this world and into that world. And I feel like that's a key distinct difference, I feel like, between DMT and normal psychedelics. And DMT is not necessarily, I feel like, a normal psychedelic, or at least smoked DMT. But ayahuasca, I would consider a normal psychedelic. Besides, it's not really that fun because you throw up, but, it's the purge. I don't feel any effects from wild lettuce anymore. Is that normal? I've only taken it 4 times. It could be a dose thing. It could be the extract. It could be, there could be a lot of reasons. Because tolerance usually doesn't build unless you've done it like 4 days in a row, maybe. Like, but Skylar corrects. Okay, the YouTube commenting thing isn't working for big information text. Can we personal message sometime? Yeah. Do you have hit me up on Instagram if you my Instagram is markdreams25. Hit me up on Instagram, and yeah, we can definitely talk. Sky seeds. I ordered baby wood rose, my glories in the same order. Can we store sharing purposes? Not rocks. Realistically, storing purposes, I just keep. If I could find them, they're around here somewhere. But I just keep my Hawaiian Beef wood rose seeds in a plastic bag inside of a plastic container. There, and then usually, in a out of light place, they could be stored for years. When I first tried Hawaiian baby wood rose seeds, I had those seeds for probably 3 years. Knives gaming. I'll try doing it in a dark room next time, maybe with a blindfold, to see how deep I can into my mind. Knives gaming and records. I always use a blindfold. Like I always. There's not one trip where I haven't. Or at least attempted to have closed eye visuals. Some trips, it's not there. Some trips, I just can't get into it. Maybe I'm too late, or maybe whatever. The weird thing is, I feel like the higher the dose, the harder it is for me to get into it. A perfect dose that I've noticed for me to get into the closed eye visuals is just 10 to 12 seeds in a cold water extraction. Um, and like, but like I've done a max at 20. I've done 20 seeds at one time before, and I haven't been able to make a trip report about that yet. But that was just kind of knocked me the fuck out. Like I need to explain a weekend that I had where it wasn't really a good weekend, but it wasn't, because Hawaiian People widow seeds. The only danger of them is that it can cause vasoconstriction, but that's a lot of danger with a lot of psychedelics for some reason. But comments on YouTube are fucked. We should message. It keeps glitching and sending messages in different order. It doesn't. Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that too. The universe has experience with 4-ACO DMT. I fucking wish if I could find a source right the fuck now, I would buy some right now. But nope, no source for it. So one day though, that's interest of mine. And I'm also interested in like a few other like I really want to try 2CE, 2CB. I want to try DOM. I still haven't tried mescaline. I want to try mescaline. I'm going to be trying a San Pedro extract that contains mescaline eventually sometime this summer. But yeah. I'm going in on mushrooms this year. Jake Megabyte. My first heroic dose. So alien. I'm going to be doing my first heroic dose this year as well. I don't know why I've never done a heroic dose. It's weird because like, but yeah. My thing is I want to go in with because I feel like I've gone in, like I want to break it into sections this year, and I want to just take time to learn, explore, and to live a little. You know what I mean? So like, so I want to explore with mescaline, San Pedro, because I've been researching it for years, but never done it. So I'm gonna do that and explore with that and get to know that, right? Because I like to get, when I find a new psychedelic I use or I like to get to know it. And like every plant I feel like has a personality, so it's like everything I feel like I want to know what type of personality does it have, and that's the type of shit that I think about when I be using these plants. Is I was thinking the same thing when I did Hawaiian Baby Woodrow seeds for the first time, and it blew my mind. And I was like, okay, it's nowhere near as outside visual as LSD, but I feel like it connects me more spiritually to the same thing DMT does, which is why maybe I like it, because I think I have nothing against non-plant psychedelics, because like I said, I would love to try 4-ACO DMT. I would love to try a lot of synthetic tryptamines and semi-synthetic phenethylamines like 2CE, but I think there's just something deep and spiritual about the big, old plant psychedelics. Jake Megabyte. I mean, I did the heroic dose already at the beginning of the year. I had this insane trip where I was like abducted by the gray alien or something. It was so outlandish. That's interesting. My girl had an experience where she was abducted by aliens, in which she described were the Anunnaki, but on Hawaiian Baby Widow seeds. And she got abducted by aliens, and like her like body was ripped apart, and there was like light that went through her and all these things, and like there was a lot of it was interesting. it was an interesting trip the next week because I tripped with her, but obviously we had two completely different trips. So to wake up the next morning, like, holy shit. And like she woke up like she didn't even know where she was at, type shit. Like what reality she was in. But trips like that, like I learned from everyone's trip around me, everyone who I've experienced and tripped with the seeds. Everyone I've given the seeds to, all my friends that I've given the seeds to so far. I like to see their reaction. The only person that has a very similar reaction is my friend Twiz, and he doesn't ever throw up on the seeds. He just but the universe asks, how should my tolerance breaks be for Hawaiian baby wood rose to avoid vasoconstriction? How long? I guess it depends. I was always precautious with the vasoconstriction for Hawaiian baby wood rose seeds, especially the how often I knew that I was going to use it. So, use the seeds. So I would never do it without garlic in it. It's not just, Hawaiian baby wood rose seeds cold water extraction. It's basically also a garlic cold water extraction, and they're mixed together always because garlic is in a sense, a vasodilator in a way. Also, I usually drink a little coffee before, or if it's like an hour or two before, I'll drink a cup of coffee, but I won't drink a full cup of coffee if it's like right before, but I will drink a little bit. And I have a bad habit of drinking Pepsi and cola and soda and Coca-Cola, and I have a bad habit of drinking cola sodas. So I have a lot of caffeine in me, so that kind of helps me, like, I don't know, like, just, because caffeine is also a vasodilator, but it also helps with staying awake through the experience a little bit to help fight the sleep. But I just think that vasodilation is just it can be a serious thing, because I feel like I'm still feeling something in my arm from like the vasodilation problem I had. Like it hurt, like I don't know how to explain it, but vasodilation sucks. And but you can lose a hand, a finger, you can lose an arm because of constriction. So just know yourself, know your body. Like me feeling a little bit of pain one trip, realizing, feel a little pressure in my arm when there's no pressure. It feels like it's swollen when it's not swollen. It's like, okay, well, that's vasoconstriction. You can feel it in your legs. I felt it in my legs before. And that's vasoconstriction. But, it's just all about knowing what you're getting yourself into, with every other psychedelic I've ever done, I feel like I don't worry about that at all, ever. Only with Hawaiian baby wood rose seeds, because I know that I was doing them frequently, and I wouldn't do LSD as frequently as I did Hawaiian baby wood rose seeds. There's no way that I think I could have and still been able to be here like this and tell the tale as clearly as I'm speaking now. But I take them while fasting on just water. Is that bad? I chew them up with peanut butter. I don't do an extracting. There's just a lot of so the universe said that. So if you don't if you don't do a water extract, basically it makes you vomit more. You get more nausea. You get more of the molecules that cause nausea. Because I did a lot of research on the seeds to figure out the psychoactive molecules, and it's not just LSA. There's LSH in there, and aldehyde molecules can turn LSA into LSH. Garlic contains aldehyde molecules. I was just trying to attempt to try to make the thing more visual as well as less sick feeling. I don't know, because garlic helps with the nausea. So I've done Hawaiian baby wood rose seeds probably 60, 70 times, and I've only thrown up once or twice. And that's it. And I think that's because I have like little precautions that I'll do. And what I've noticed too, as well, is like eating a little bit of bread or something like that, like 30 minutes before uh, take the seeds, or because I always do a water extraction. I've never even ate the seeds. When I did eat the seeds, I never swallowed them. I chewed them in my mouth for about an hour and held it in my mouth for an hour and then spit it out, and that was my first and my second Hawaiian baby woodrose experience was like that. But uh after that, I've always done just get some water, shake up, some garlic powder or some fresh garlic. You put it in the bottle of water. It's never tap water. You shake it up, you shake it up, you shake it up. Then you strain that through a coffee filter. Then you got your garlic water. And then you have regular water. You do a 50-50 thing with that. I usually do about 1 ounce regular water or a half ounce regular water and a half ounce garlic water or a full ounce. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But the less liquid, also, I've noticed, the less nauseous I feel as well. So as little liquid as I can possibly get without, whatever. But I think it's all about precautions. It's just, I feel like it's all about just figuring out. And I think that's what the crazy thing is. That's what the shamans did without the internet. I'm doing this with the internet, with the help of research papers and scientists and what different scientists think and what, because there's many different scientific research papers and articles that are about the receptors and the side effects and this and that and why there's the side effects um and I'm like, what the fuck else do I have to do with my life, So this has become my life, this has become the main focus and main thing in my life. Is just constantly always learning about like what the molecules I'm doing are doing to me, as well as the negative side effects. I want the pros to always outweigh the cons. But vasoconstriction is a thing that can happen, and there, if you looked it up, then you find that there are people that have died, well, from psychedelics. And you can say that it's because they got the wrong psychedelic. They thought they were taking LSD, but then they were taking something else. But that can happen. There's people that have, had their arms cut off because they took the psychedelic they took, but it still caused vasoconstriction. I get vasoconstriction on mushrooms also. I I haven't, but I also haven't taken more than 4 grams. So, um, Knives Gaming the Record says cayenne pepper, cinnamon, garlic are good vasodilators. Doing exercises involving lots of breathing, like cardio, can help open blood vessels too. Yeah, I agree. I all of that's on point. Um, I guess the only thing that when I researched was that cinnamon contains aldehyde molecules, and like, because if you mix aldehyde molecules with LSA, you can cause a reaction to change the molecule. Um, so like, there's certain things, like I tried mixing ginger with it to try to see if it could take away the nausea, and I feel like it took away some of the effects. Um, but nothing, Skylar, you didn't miss really much besides me talking about Hawaiian Big Woodrow seeds and vasoconstriction. Just high. Uh, the universe says, do you get sleep paralysis attacks? If so, what's your opinion on them? I haven't had sleep paralysis since I was a child. And sleep paralysis is the beginning stages of lucid dreaming. So if you can have sleep paralysis and kind of be like, instead of trying to wake up and freaking out about it, just like kind of just like lay down and go into it, you can go into a lucid dream. A lot of people go into lucid dream that way. I haven't personally that way, but I just know that I don't have sleep paralysis. I don't even really have dreams much, and when I do now, they're good dreams, because I used to have nightmares all the time. But like now it's just like, I don't know. I don't really dream because I smoke, and weed can take away dreams. But yeah, speaking about smoking, this wax and this shit always be getting me. Shadow. Shout out to everybody that's still in here. 2:41 in the morning. In sleep paralysis, you would see something like spirits in the room or something like that, because your brain is in the middle of being asleep and awake, dreaming and not, in this world and the next. Yeah, so it's like, I also feel like I had nightmares for majority of 25 years of my life, right? Well, actually, it was about 19, 20 years of my life I had nightmares all the time, almost every night. I was in therapy for a lot of shit, but including that, and it's like, the way I got rid of my nightmares is I got rid of the fear of the nightmares. I got rid of the fear of the sleep. Because if you're scared at night, that fear can manifest into the dream. Whatever you're feeling can manifest into dream world. But it's just the same way here. Whatever you're feeling here can manifest in this world, except in the dream world, just like in the psychedelic world, there is no such thing as time, really. So whatever you're feeling in the exact moment is what you will manifest in the exact moment. Rather than here, which we feel something sad right now, it might not affect your life right now, but over time, if you're continuously feeling sad, it's going to affect your life over a long period of time. I might as well get really, really, really high, right? Because why not? That was a big hit. Ask questions, guys, if you don't mind. I don't know. Because I say this on my live streams on the other channel. I'll just ramble about everything and anything. Like, I got so much shit that goes on in my mind. Oh, man. Woo. Like, I see lights flashing in my eyes, different gesture entities. I've done a lot of mushrooms lately, and I have crazy sleep paralysis experiences. Like, I see lights flashing in my eyes, different gesture entities, and UFO type imagery while I'm falling asleep. This always happens after I use mushrooms. Now, it could be that the mushrooms, because a lot of people, where it's like, after you do a psychedelic, it's possible that you could have a dream sometime in your life. This is what Terrence said, sometime in the future where you do a psychedelic in your dream. Now, I have friends personally, that have tripped in their dreams a lot. Like, my friend Samina, she talks, I've had many conversations with her about, her tripping in her dreams, and I've tripped in dreams, and there's, I did DMT in a dream one time, and and this is when I was sober, even from weed. But I think psychedelics are interesting because they can affect even weed. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but if you've smoked weed before doing psychedelics and you smoke weed now after doing psychedelics, it's a little different. And maybe it's just me, but like, I don't know. I just think psychedelics, it's like the third eye. Once the third eye is open, reality is a little different, It's one of those things. Skylar Cooks. Also about the weird plant drugs I'm encountering and curious if you've tried. I could get my list. Is it down that safe one to reference if you, but have you tried dream drugs? I've never tried. What's so crazy is I have dream herbs. I used to have this African dream root. I have an African dream root extract. There's another dream root, uh, something Stanichi or something like that. There's a bunch of them, and then obviously there's the dream fish, and but those, because at the time I used to have nightmares, so I wasn't really into those type of things. So I've never tried any of those. Jake Megabyte says, do you think DMT and mushrooms allows you to wormhole to other places in the universe? Yes, and more. I think DMT allows you to go to places in the universe and even things that are outside of the universe. Like, it's like the universe is multidimensional, and when we think of the universe, we think of space and the black infinite nothingness and all the stars and all the different galaxies, and how there's millions and trillions and gazillions of different galaxies, and how there's most likely aliens out there, and there's most likely thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands, to there could even be millions. We don't understand. We don't know of different alien species that are as smart as us contemplating this on some live stream on their planet, right? But like, it's deeper than that. It's like that's only the third dimension. That's still only one aspect of a multi-dimensional aspect of what's really going on. And DMT, for me, has allowed, with all my experiences, I've just kind of broke it down to, it just keeps showing me this picture in this experience of a breakdown, like a shattering of going higher and higher up into dimensions. And each time you go into another dimension, you rip, pieces of yourself. You rip because the physical can't be in the fifth dimension. A third dimensional object cannot be in a fifth dimensional world. It's just, it can't be, and the best description I've ever heard, I don't know who came up with it, but it wasn't me, but the best description I've ever heard is the radio and frequency thing. But that's like the universe. This third dimension is on one frequency, and you change that dial one bit, you can't take you can't take 1020 and turn it to and make it 1022. 1025 will always be different than 1023. They're always different. They might be on the same radio player, but they're always different. And that's like the dimensions we're in. And that's what I've gotten from DMT in a nutshell, over hundreds of experiences and a lot more. But there's so much in my experiences and other people's experiences that I've learned, because it's from my friend Twiz as well, being able to trip with somebody and bounce back ideas and learn and explore. And, because I guess DMT, whether you do DMT with somebody or not, you're still kind of alone. You're not going on the journey with them. But I've had weird experiences with my friend Twiz where we both could have sworn that we were in the same place together at the same, like, weird shit. Like telepathy on a whole nother aspect, a whole nother level. But yeah. Skylar Crook says, mushrooms don't do shit to me except feel happy. Then I don't think you've found, so it's basically dose dependent. So the thing is, I am going to do 5 grams of psilocybin mushrooms in silent darkness the next time I have mushrooms. That is what I'm doing. Silent darkness, have a blindfold and dim the light so dark that, you can barely see, but you can still see. But I'm gonna keep the blindfold on the whole time. And I'm probably gonna sit back meditation style on the wall or something, and I'm just gonna experience the trip for 5 hours. I'm gonna sit there with the mushroom in the darkness for 5 hours. But it won't be dark, obviously. I'm not even gonna be there. Because when you take the psychedelic that way, it becomes like the DMT experience. It can take you to the same world. Any tryptamine can take you to the tryptamine world. And DMTs are tryptamine. Psilocybin and psilocin are tryptamines. Ayahuasca is obviously a tryptamine because it's just the drinkable version of DMT. But I believe that mushrooms takes you to a different aspect of the tryptamine world. And I think that even LSA, the visions that I've had on LSA, I've had visions of the tryptamine world where I've flown through colorful vortexes and it's some weird shit, seeing flashes of the future and these future moments actually happening in my life. And it's happened multiple times with LSA. So I was chopping it down to maybe it's a crazy fucking coincidence, but not if it's happened multiple times. There's a reason why the shamans said that they use these things to predict the future and to help prevent diseases and helped them see through time or something like that. Now, like I said, I've never done mescaline, but I like the way you said that. I'm going to go back in the comments, but the universe says, I can't see clearly on LSA, though. I've seen the future, though. And I fucks with that because multiple people have seen future moments in their life, but for me, it's blurry. DMT is so crystal clear. Ayahuasca is so crystal clear. Mushrooms, closed eye visuals is so crystal clear, but LSA is like blurry and foggy. I don't know how to explain it, but it took me time to be able to just really just pay attention to it, just drastically just pay attention to the fact that it is blurry and cloudy. And I'd still yeah exactly, looking through the fog. Jake Megabyte says I had a weird future vision with LSD. That's interesting because it's tweaked version of LSA. Go back, hold on. Because weed and mushrooms don't do nearly as anything to me, I swear. Maybe because I've smoked every day. Now, I guess this is all dose dependent, right? So I got this, I wish I fucking could break it down, but I got this shatter, right? And I've been just putting weed, shatter, and like, man, getting high. And if you can't get high, there's edibles, there's so much shit. But like, it also could be maybe you need a tolerance break, because I took a tolerance break from weed for a long time. But so the African Scholar Crook says, I saw that the African dream root is hard to make because the froth is hard to get proper. I think you just have to do it kind of warm, not hot, not cold, warm. And I think you like whisk it or something like that. That's what I was hearing. But like, that's why I was thinking an extract is better. Jake Megabyte says, I got to have a lot of DMT experiences also this year. It's even stranger than mushrooms. So many entities. There's like an infinite number of them. In DMT, there's an infinite amount of entities, infinite amount of worlds, because I think that DMT, this is my personal opinion, but I think that DMT is the ultimate. DMT is what it is. And I think that every other psychedelic is just a branch off of DMT. Like DMT is this thing in the center, and everything else is just branching off of it, right? So mushrooms, whether they're tryptamines or not, I feel like they're all just branching off of this thing, because I don't think there's anything that can take you farther than DMT, and if people say they haven't, DMT doesn't take them far enough, they haven't done enough. Because that's what I was kind of trying to say with the mushrooms. It's like Terrence basically said, if it didn't work for you on one occasion, just take more, A lot of people are just taking like grams or 2 grams or 3 grams. That's what I did in the beginning too, just to get to know it. But now it's time to dive deep with it, because I've gotten to know it on a lower level. And, I've prepared myself over the years for things like this. And then listening to mushroom trips, I'm like, well, it's probably going to be another one of those moments in my life where I did DMT. I was only doing DMT, and that was it. And I was like, I don't even want to do LSD because it's not fully natural. And I don't even want to do mushrooms because it's not DMT. But then eventually I tried LSD and realized that it's not going to be a 12-hour scary DMT trip. It's going to be this, loving, magical experience. I don't know. LSD is a different thing. LSD is like the wild child. I think, when Albert Hoffman called his book LSD My Problem Child, that made sense, because it kind of was his problem child, because it is a wild, fun, vibe child, like psychedelic, like has a, I don't know, it's young, but I think the fact that the mushrooms are so old and wise, that's why they pack more of a punch. DMT is old and wise, it packs more of a punch. But yeah, I think that's why LSA can show you more visions. But it's interesting that you had visions, a vision from LSD of the future, because there's something about the ergomites that do that. But yeah. Oh shit, hold on. I don't know if you guys smoke. I don't know. Like, y'all are fucking awesome. Like, it's 3 a.m. where I'm at. I don't know what time it is where you guys are at, but that's dope that the next day it's going to happen. Because almost every experience that I've had that had a vision of the future, it happened. And it's like the LSA warned me about something traumatic that just happened in my life that eventually I'll make a trip report on. But like, there's like so much. I've had too many experiences with psychedelics to not believe in them. You know what I mean? But yeah. Oh, it's only okay. It's only midnight where you're at. It's midnight where you're at too. Not even getting records. 3 a.m. Dope. Fuck yeah. Let's see. Scholar Crook says, on my heavy dose, 700 micrograms of acid, for the first time, the easiest way to explain it was I got paralyzed and laid on my friend's bed because I couldn't move to go back to my room, let alone especially past his mom. See, that's the doses that I like, though. Like, no, I've never done 700 micrograms of LSD. And see, that's the thing. Now, pretty soon I'm getting ready to dive deep. But the main thing I dived deep with for some weird reason was DMT. But for some weird reason, I was always, I don't know, until recently, until like, generally, if it wasn't for Hawaiian baby widow seeds, or if it wasn't for my recent experiences with LSD, because maybe it's that I wasn't getting good enough LSD or something. I don't know. I have a test kit, so all the LSD I've had has been legit, but it's just some will say they're dosed at 200 micrograms, but really it's probably like 60 micrograms because I barely feel it. I've had experiences with Hawaiian baby widow seeds that were more visual than some LSD experiences I've had. But the most I've taken is 3 hits, right? But I've had an experience where I've taken 2 hits, and that was more visual than the 3 hits, and they're both tested because I have a test kit. So I don't know. But now I have a more reliable source. I just have to wait. And once I wait, I just have a more reliable source now. So I feel like I'm a little more, in a good position, I guess. And my thing is, I'm getting ready to, DMT is getting ready to come around again, and mushrooms, I'm hoping to get ready to come around again. Coronavirus fucks shit up because, like, there's no more festivals or anything. Festival season tends to bring more psychedelics around. The second, Scholar Crook says, second time on the 700 micrograms, I took my tabs and smoked, and then immediately got back to my room before I got paralyzed again. And I knew right after I got to my room, his mom was going to call for dinner, and I said, I don't feel hungry, right, as I peek. And ended up face down on my bed, closed eye, visuals, huffing and puffing for air. It was so intense. And then I fell through the dinosaur era, time past T-Rex head, and whipped under its mouth and saw like northern light type colors. That's a beautiful trip. But like experiences like that are like beautiful. I think a lot of people dive so deep though and start deep because like yeah, right though, Jay, because that's a, like I said, that's a beautiful trip. It sounds like it was intense, but I think it's just interesting that lysergamides tend to have this time thing. They have the ability to, you can pass through time, future, past. It's interesting. But yeah, I thought they were me huffing, eating dinner. I was very Jake Megabyte says, I've heard other LSD trips where people see the dinosaurs. It's interesting. I've never seen dinosaurs, but I haven't. Like, I've never seen dinosaurs in that aspect. Scholar Crooks. Scholar Crook says, it was amazing, but it told me with the nervousness about them hearing me huffing and puffing to wait until move out of his house to do acid again. Or just do it in a better, I guess, set and setting. Doing it in a set and setting where, like, it's set and setting really is key. Because all my set and settings is, I'm usually alone. If not, like I could trip right here if I wanted, but over experience, you learn how to kind of just handle yourself. But in the beginning, I would always kind of just make sure I was home alone with the doors locked, because that's just, or like, everyone says get a trip sitter. And I guess I had a trip sitter for some times because at the time, my girlfriends at the time would always usually be there. Like, if my girlfriend at the time when I was doing DMT, she was usually there, or at least in the house. My girlfriend at the time when I was doing mushrooms and LSD, she was usually there, or I was usually doing LSD with other people who were also tripping. Being around people who are not tripping is a bad, just uh, distracting thing. Now it's fine, it's like whatever. It depends on your thing. I once went when Suicide Squad, the first one, was actually out in theaters. I seen it in 3D when I was on when I was on LSD. After like 6 hours of taking LSD, I went to go see uh, you know Suicide Squad in 3D, and that was fucking insane. But you know. The universe says, took weed edibles and looked in the mirror for 3 minutes. I turned into the devil. My skin turned black and I had ram horns. I was scared at the moment, but not anymore because I know what the actual devil is now. Now, you can interpret that in many different ways, right? But it's interesting, because there's the devil. The devil's always inside of us, but the God's inside of us too. We have the Godhead, we have the king, and we have the peasant. We have the light, and we have the dark. We have the yin, and we have the yang. We, you know, it's just the way we are, And sometimes, though, a lot of times we don't want to look at our darkness. That's why psychedelics aren't scared to put our darkness in front of us, because psychedelics are not dark. It's the human beings that are dark. So the psychedelics just showing you from its perspective. Like, it's like, okay, well, this is who you are, and this is who I am. And, I think when you're tripping, you're having a dialogue with the psychedelic experience. I think you're having a talk with it. You're talking with it. The visuals that it's giving you, the knowledge that it's giving you, your experiences with it, you can actually talk to most psychedelics and they can respond to your talking, and not necessarily talking with your mouth necessarily, but they can respond with just you talking in your mind, and you speak to it, and then you silence the mind and listen to it, and then you speak to it. And this is something that meditation has helped me with. This is a practice. Psychedelic usage is a practice that you have to get good at. Just like making music is a practice you have to get good at. Just like I don't know, anything. People who craft statues by hand had to work from a child basically at shit like that, and molding and getting good at that, And I think psychedelic usage is a similar thing, where it's like you kind of eventually just learn how to get good at it and learn different techniques, how to remember certain things. It's one of the reasons why I make videos, is it helps me remember my trips. It helps me remember, one, who I was and who I am. It's an interesting thing being able to look back on some videos and be able to be like, wow, I've grown so much. I've learned so much just from these trips. I went through this bullshit, but I still made it through. It's an interesting thing. Psychedelics change your perspective and the way you look at your life. This thing, Jake Megabyte says, hold on, Scholar Crook says, would have been perfect if I found acid earlier. Hold on. Scholar Crook says, well, Well, when I lived in my family Borg band, I had my own trailer in the driveway with a cat I got stoned with, and my parents would give me mush and kush and wax and shadow every day nearly, so it would be perfect, yeah. Right. Jake Megabyte says, the thing with the Lysergamides and time travel, I remember also on 2 tabs, I had a closed eye vision where I went into this hyperdimensional cube. It had totem pole images on the side of the cube as I entered. And inside, there was this like future human descendant. It was like this really alien looking being with a giant brain pointing to this stone circle with a hieroglyphic glowing on it. Oh, hieroglyphs going on it. That's interesting. That's a really dope. See, this is what I love about psychedelics, and I don't just I don't just learn from my trips. I learn from everyone's trips, and I think that we can all learn from each other's trips, and we can put things together better that way. We're putting the pieces together, and every psychonaut's doing that, whether they realize it or not, or whether they speak to each other or not, whether they know each other or not. We're all helping each other, or realistically, we're all. I heard it from DMT Infinity tonight. DMT Infinity was talking about how basically the psychedelics kind of can possess us in a way, and in a way it's true in a way that they kind of download you with ideas, and the psychedelics intentions, we all know the psychedelics intentions because it gives it to you when you take it, love, connection, growth, expansion, knowledge, uh, get your shit right, face your bullshit, grow up, help others be who you were meant to be. Like, there's more out there in the universe. Humans don't understand shit. There's like all the typical things that almost every psychedelic experience tells you. It's like it can throw you to other dimensions and be like, oh yeah, well, you want to know about God? Here's a little bit about God. And then it shows you, oh damn, religions don't know shit. God, It says, oh, you want to know about quantum physics and quantum mechanics? Oh, here, let me throw you over here. And then it throws you over here in this understanding of somehow you understand quantum mechanics while you're there and in this thing. And then it throws you over here and it's like, wow, okay, you say, well, scientists don't know shit either. So it's like okay, well shit, everything Terrence said was correct anyways. Like Terrence said this, and the psychedelics I feel like are saying this to everyone. um Also in DMT Infinity's live stream, uh somebody talked about how somebody had a similar experience that he did. And basically, I think my point of view on when somebody has, because there's a lot of people who have had similar experiences, and maybe their trip report sounds similar than that person's trip report, and I feel like it's because it's a real thing. This isn't Psychedelics aren't drugs. They're like Terrence says, disguising themselves as drugs. Because they're not. It's not a. It's not a drug. It's information. It's a doorway. It's like a hard drive, but somehow a portal. Somehow I don't know. It's some higher dimensional shit, and I just think that these things are really what is going on. It's not that the psychedelic is making you trip. It's that right now you're tripping, but like if you're sober, you're tripping balls because you're blinded to what's really going on in the universe and the world around you. And yeah, I'm gonna hit this bomb. I'm pretty high. Fuck yeah. And inside the okay. The universe says, "Do you know about your karmic debt?" Yes, somewhat. I've done a little research on it, and like I'm pretty sure it's like something about the debt of either the debt of the ancestors or the debt of your past selves or the debt of because the way I look at it is, the harm I've done to others and things like that. And I kind of live like that anyways. And I kind of like understand like the scales and the weight of weighing of the soul in a way, like, because I've had these experiences in DMT where I had a weighing of my soul and my soul was, weighed, and like at the time it was a little heavy, but now in my life, I think it would be a little light because I'm just lighter. I just feel, and it's one of those things where you're like, I just feel lighter. I don't know how to explain it, but like, I don't have much in my life that's, keeping me heavy besides, I don't know, but, I'm just, yeah. Skylar Crooks, you said earlier you've been researching mescaline for years. After weed every day, mushrooms a lot, acid twice, high doses, and morning glory, 500 seeds of honey woodrow seeds, 20 seeds on the way. What's next? I was honking peyote seeds and then salvia, but peyote seeds are sold out here right now. Thinking. It's interesting you said that, as I was thinking about like what there's not. That's why I spend a lot of my days researching plants, trying to figure out new exotic molecules and extracts and plants nobody's ever fucking heard of, and but the problem is I don't want to do plants that even tribes don't even use, but there's still a lot of Native American plants that nobody's really heard of. But I'm more looking for, is there undiscovered psychedelics? Like, that's a good question that I think about. Like, is there undiscovered psychedelics out there that have potential? That's why I've been making different extracts with different plants, and smoking it and making like wax extracts. This is some wax, right? And but that's cannabis wax. Now, I've made wax with white lotus and blue lotus that look very similar to this. Also, I've made wax with blue vervain, which is weirdly psychoactive and spiritual in a weird way, but like in a weird way. But like, that's why I've been researching and trying different extracts and molecules and plants, just on a search. The next thing I really want to try, I actually just thought about it, is ibogaine. Honestly, I want to do ibogaine because I just think it'd be dope to do ibogaine because that's one I haven't done yet. 5-MeO DMT I haven't done yet. I'd like to do that, but DMT is more my thing. But like I've researched 5-MeO DMT, so I want to do that as well. Yeah, and like I said earlier, I want to do 5-ACO DMT. A few other tryptamines, things like that, phenethylamines. I want to explore more with MDMA. I've only done real MDMA once, and that was in a candy flip experience. It wasn't even by itself. And I've only done fake MDMA, which was methadone. And I have, I guess, enough experience with methadone because shit, I only had an experience with sniffing it, but shit, we were sniffing it like all day long, so like I have experiences with that, but besides that, I haven't really done anything with MDMA. So I'd like to do MDMA, and a little more, just have a little more experience with it, just to see it. That's why I want to do mescaline, just to see it. I like to get to know it. Say, hey, how you doing? How, you know. The other thing I want to try also is Amanita muscaria. I would like to. Hamilton Morris talked about this thing called gaboxidol. That's actually a pharmaceutical drug, an actual drug, but it works on similar receptors that the muscimol does, which is in the red mushroom with the white speckles on it, the fly agaric mushroom. Skylar Crook says, I don't fuck with Molly. Everything I've heard about it is bad, and I don't like the even thought about snorting something. With Molly, I wouldn't snort Molly. See, that was my uneducated, somewhat half woke, unwoke days, I guess you can call them. This is like 2014 or 15. And I was just uneducated and just whatever. I just didn't know anything about drugs. It's crazy how in 2015 I knew nothing about drugs. Nothing. Besides I knew about DMT but I didn't know what receptors it attached to. I didn't know anything. I didn't know how it worked. When I first did DMT, I didn't even know what it was supposed to look like. But Terrence just convinced me from the dead. He convinced me. But yeah, and Molly, I'm not gonna explore with Molly like I did with the seeds or something, because with the Hawaiian Boudoir seeds, there was times where I was doing it maybe 3 times a week, 4 times a week, or sometimes I did it twice in a day, or sometimes whatever. And that's dangerous because that's how you can get fucking vasoconstriction. It's one of those things. But yeah, but I wouldn't do that with Molly, obviously, because I have a friend who his favorite substance is Molly because he was addicted to Molly. And he knew he was getting real MDMA. Like, it wasn't no bullshit. His Molly was not pink. But yeah. A lot of times around here, though, I'm gonna end up doing MDA, not MDMA. Which MDMA, that's Molly. MDA is technically considered SAS, but that's what is more available around in my area, and I can only get what I can get. But I'm down to do that anyways because they say it's a little more psychedelic. That's why I want to just try it. But and see, MDMA and MDA, these are things that you need to get a milligram scale. These are things that need to be measured to the dose. Humans, I see so many people that just be popping fucking rocks of Molly in their mouth. And I think that's the dumbest shit ever, right? It's no, I think you need to get a milligram scale and weigh out a dose. Figure out online, you can easily type it in on Google what the dose is, and you can, figure out what, a dose is. Because I like to listen to Alexander Shulgin. There's documentaries about Alexander Shulgin. There's many videos and interviews with Alexander Shulgin, and his experiences with it. He's written about it. He has, things where he wrote about it, where the type of dosage you should do, and the dose I did, and I probably wouldn't do any more than for me, I would probably never do any more than 200 milligrams of it at one time, but that's just me personally. And I would never. And when I did it with the LSD, I think it was 120 milligrams of MDMA 30 minutes after I took the LSD. And then 5 hours later, I took uh, another redose of 100 milligrams of MDMA in a capsule. And that was a beautiful candy flip. And we only took one hit of LSD. You don't need to blast yourself. And I think that's my thing. I've had many beautiful experiences, just from, one hit of some potent LSD, like, because some hits around here, have like, 200-300 micrograms on one hit. Um, but, but yeah. Skylar Crooks, I'm about to take a huge runner bowl of Kush of a bunch of A, quadruple A strains grinded together. Girl for cookies, MK Ultra, tuna, sherbet, Kush mints. Skylar Crooks says, Amanita muscaria is like normal mushrooms, right? I can't spell the psilocybin word. No. Amanita muscaria contains muscimol. Muscimol is a GABA A psychedelic-ish type thing. It's a little different than a traditional psychedelic. Motherwort, okay? Now, this is me personally doing personal research. Motherwort contains, its main molecule is stachydrin. If you look at the base structure of stachydrin, it's the same base structure as muscimol, which I don't know if stachydrin works on GABA A. I'm pretty sure it does. I did research. I know leonorine does, but I forgot if stachydrin does. But they're similarly shaped. And so is, like, that's what I was talking about, gaboxidol, which is another GABA A. These are weirdly GABA receptors that can somehow cause psychedelic-like things. The closest thing I've gotten with motherwort is at a high enough dose, I can get visions behind my eyes, and I can lay on my back and feel like I'm transcending upwards or going downwards, but going upwards, or it's like an astral projection thing. I can lay down and I can astral project a little bit on it. And then I did research on motherwort and found out, like, before it was motherwort, before it was used for like babies and women who were giving birth, it was like used by the pagans and things like that, and witches as a thing to help them astral project and to protect them from negative energy from other people, and negative energy and negative, if somebody wished negative upon you, they believe that the motherwort would help protect them from that. And also they would, like I said, use it to astral project and for spiritual reasons. And I can see that with the motherwort, but that's history of the motherwort plant that was kind of lost, right? There's history of many plants that were lost, and that's why I want to do Amanita muscaria, because I want to test to see if my theory is somewhat correct or somewhat accurate. I want to see if the Amanita muscaria experience is similar to motherwort, because motherwort is dose dependent, and so is Amanita muscaria. Most psychedelics are, though, realistically. Most substances are dose dependent. Most substances are completely different things at low doses compared to high doses. Take 2 grams of kratom and take 6 grams of kratom, or even 5 grams of kratom. It becomes a different thing, even if you took the same substance. Take 1 small hit of cannabis, take 4 giant dabs. Take 1 bong hit, eat an edible. Same substance, different experience. And I think all these experiences have that. So I want to try the Amanita muscaria because it grows around here. And so does Amanita pantherina. And Amanita pantherina is said to have more muscimol in it, but I'm scared to do that one because, like, I don't know if it's the right one. The red mushroom is easy to see, you can't miss, and you know that you found it. So it's like one of those things where that's the one I want to find. And since nobody's going to be outside during the quarantine, I don't give a shit. I'm still going to go look for mushrooms. I'm still going to get my herbs. I'm still going to get my plants. I got to get my plants for the winter, because when the winter comes, I like to, I live near PA. Yeah. Upstate New York, I guess. So it's kind of near PA. Yeah. Man, I'm high as shit. And what's going on? 3:30. It's almost. Oh, that's crazy. It's 3:32 right now. About to be 3:33. Scholar Cooks here in Canada on the same site. I'm buying the seeds. There are 3 pages covered with plants, but some cause cancer and bad stuff, and had to Google them all for like 5 hours to find good ones. That's exactly what I feel like needs to be done, right? That's 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 some educated psychonaut shit. That's what I mean. There's a lot of people out there that just take a bunch of shit and end up in the hospital, or take a bunch of shit or end up with problems. Like when diving with plants extracts, it doesn't matter. A lot of people that I know like judge it off as like you're drinking teas, like that doesn't do shit. Like, what is your teas gonna do? It's like, well, let me show you. These teas can do a lot, but see, Eminem Mascara is only $15 an ounce. I think a dose of it though is I don't know. I'm trying to look for a heroic dose, and the problem with Eminem Mascara is it depends on how potent the mushroom is. You can have mushrooms that are the same size, that look the exact same. That one's really strong, one's really weak. And the same thing goes for a lot of plants, though. I mean, every plant's like that. You can have cannabis, you can have weed that one's some shitty ass weed, the other one's some really good ass weed. Scholar so Eminem Mascara is called. No, Scholar Eminem Mascara is not called motherwort. Motherwort is Leonoris cardiaca. It's a completely different plant. It just contains a molecule called stachydrin that is closely shaped and looks similar to the molecule that's in Amanita muscaria, which is called muscimol. 2 different plants, but seem to possibly be similar. Same thing with mushrooms and ayahuasca. The molecules are very similar. Different experience, but very similar. Scholar said, would it be worth experimenting or get other stuff such as blue, red, pink, white? The water lilies are some of my favorite things. I tend to not be able to write in my book without having at least either white lotus, space lotus, or the water lily. Space lotus tends to be a little more psychedelic, though, because space lotus was altered by space itself. That's why it's called space lotus. They took the white lotus seed and took it up in space and altered its DNA and turned it literally into a completely different plant. And it's space lotus, and that plant contains, and that plant's extracts contain more apomorphine than any. And the other water lilies and shit don't contain apomorphine. And apomorphine is not morphine. It's not related to it. It's not an opioid. It's actually an aporphine alkaloid, similar to nuciferin, but it's more psychedelic-like. Same thing with glossine, but glossine is in the yellow horned poppy plant. And glossine is a porphine alkaloid, which is a little more psychedelic. I've been getting into the porphyrin alkaloids and different molecules and plants, and because the water lily has many plants. The water lily contains a porphyrin alkaloids, but California poppy contains a porphyrin alkaloids. The boldo leaf contains a porphyrin alkaloids called boldine. Similar. I don't know how to spell it, but I think that should come up. Google will spell check all that, but yeah, that should come up. There's Glossine comes from the yellow horn poppy, but the yellow horn poppy is poisonous. So you can't just make a tea with the yellow horn poppy because it contains poisonous molecules. At this point, you would have to learn how to extract the glossine from it or get a safe extract, which I haven't been able to find. I've only been able to find pure glossine, but it's like a fucking $1,000 a goddamn gram. And I'm not paying $1,000 a gram when the dose is like a strong dose of it is like 200, 300 milligrams. I'm just, that's insanely expensive. It's ridiculous right now. And yeah, and the only place I could find it is from some sketchy Chinese vendor, right? And like, it's hard. That's the thing with finding all these things. I guess that's my thing. I've been networking myself for so many years, just talking to different farmers and vendors from Africa. I'm trying to get I know farmers from Africa that sell akawama seeds. I have farmers from Africa that have ibogaine, that sell ibogaine root, which is why I was thinking about trying ibogaine because I can get it, by the kilos. And like, I just, with the kratom, I did the same thing, and it's like all this other shit. Like, there's so many people I've met over the years with different things, and with glossine, I just can't find a good place to get it cheap, unless I fucking extract it myself, which, yeah. But boldine, which is a molecule similar to glossine, which is also similar to nuciferin, which nuciferin is in blue water lily. It also is an porphyrin alkaloid. And these things are like, I just love the fact that molecules have classes, right? Like, there's tryptamines, there's opioids. We all know the opioids, heroin, morphine, codeine, Percocet, Vicodin, Oxycontin. Like, all these things are opioids. Some of them are opiates, but kratom is an opioid as well. But those are opioids. Akawama seeds are opioids as well. But there's glossine or porphyrin alkaloids, and porphyrin alkaloids have completely different a little different feel to it. A more of a trippiness, but also there is like a drowsy vibe to, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like the water lily at extremely high doses has like a dissociative, trippy, psychedelic-ish, MDMA-ish type effect, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain it, but I think YouTube does have group video chat. I just have no clue I have no idea how I would do it. I'm going to do some research, just watch some YouTube videos, and see how people get other people in the chat, because like I've jumped in people's chat rooms where like the screen where I'm on, it's just broken up into a bunch of different things, and it's a bunch of different people, that were in the chat room that just joined in, and because eventually I want to start doing my podcast again, but I also want to start doing like a webcast like this, because I'm down to just, instead of like reading people's experiences, like, you guys can put your experiences out there, and like, and it's like, I just like to talk and vibe and chill and smoke, and, I think that's a dope thing that can eventually happen. And over the next like week or 2, 3, 4, there's going to be a lot more content. Right now, the only thing I've been doing on either channel realistically is live streaming, but that's because I can take a 1-hour live stream, a 2-hour live stream, and make realistically hundreds of clips of content if I wanted to. But like, I'm trying to get more things on Instagram, more things over here, more things over there, because you know, um, that's how you get your ideas out there, right? That's how you get yourself out there. That's how you grow as a whatever I am, right? Because all I know how to be is me. So all I know is I do a bunch of shit. I make music, I make videos, I like to trip, I'm a psychonaut, I'm also a father, I'm a family man, you know, I'm a father, but I'm also a son because I have a mother, you know, it's like I'm a normal person as well as I have a job as well as I, you know, work. Store clerk by day, psychedelic shaman by night type shit. You know, that's just the way that I've been living for a while. But I feel like that's how you got to live in the modern day world. We live in the 21st century where we have no choice but to adapt to the Western world until we get enough means to get out of the Western world and stand on our own two legs, you know? Because that's what the LSA does to me. The Hawaiian Baby Woodrow seeds is a weird psychedelic because it punches me in the face in a. If I never did Hawaiian Baby Woodrow seeds, I wouldn't have a job right now. Like, because it showed me why I need the job. Like it showed me you need the job because you want to help your family. You need the job because you love your girlfriend. You need a job because you love your kids. You need a job because you love this. You need like it's just showing me you need a job because you need to start your business so you can get on your own two legs. So you don't have to be employee for too long. You're just trying to get the means up, you know. And it's like there's many ways I can do it, you know. I don't know. I'm probably gonna start like a GoFundMe or something where I have like this goal to, you know, it's just like for business. It's a business GoFundMe, or if I could find a different website, you know, it'd be better. But like, you know, just something that, you know, just accept donations. And I'm even gonna start putting into the, you know, instead of putting my money into the bank, I could probably just start putting it into the GoFundMe because um, I'm just trying to save up to get my business started, save up to get things flowing. And then, man, I can see it because LSA has kind of shown me. That's why I'm not worried. And it's like, even if that doesn't work, right? It's like, I'm not worried because I've been able to save, you know, money in 2 weeks. That's like, wow. Like, so 2 more weeks, I'll have double that amount. 2 more weeks from that, I'll have double that amount. And then I can start investing that into something else, which will make me quadruple that amount, and then so forth and so on, because that's what I'm going to start doing. And I just have these ideas, these business plans set up. And if it wasn't for tripping, I wouldn't be able to have business plans or ideas. And I think Steve Jobs doing LSD, in my personal opinion, had a lot to do with Apple being as ginormous, as big as it is, and the technology, because ideas are not ours. Like these are ideas from the psychedelic world in a nutshell. Like these are, we tend to think, like for me, like I have my thing called Theory Series on my, you know, Mark Dreams 2 channel. And Theory Series is also going to be a book that I'm writing. I'm writing this and but it's, if as much as I say they were my theories that I got from DMT, from my experiences with psychedelics, they're really not my theories as much as they are the psychedelics theories speaking through me. It's weird, but it's just how it is. So, you know, this is just, yeah, life is a weird journey because life is a psychedelic trip, and psychedelics are just trying to help you with life because they're trying to show you you are the infinite. So stop acting like you're not. You know, we have the power within us. And my whole time, for a while, I thought I wasn't acting like a victim, but I was acting like a victim, but I just couldn't see it because until LSA showed me it, you know, and so yeah. Uh, Scholar Kirk says, uh, yeah, but you already Names of the social. Yeah, he says, "Yeah, you are already more experienced than me and need the knowledge because other creators don't give feedback like this." Um, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people give feedback like that. I don't know. Well, if you realistically want to know what I do, like I listen to Terrence McKenna almost every day. A different talk, obviously, because he has many of them. But I like to, sometimes I listen to the same talk because why the fuck not? Because I want to. I want to know what he knows. So, sometimes I have this playlist on my YouTube channel, on my Mark Dreams 2 YouTube channel. And it's a playlist called Videos That Changed My Life. There's, I think, 100 or maybe 200 videos in there videos that have changed my life. And they're all like motivational type shit. A lot of it's, some of it's Terrence McKenna, some of it's motivational, some of it's David Goggins, some of it's Tom Bilyeu, some of it's Gary Vee, some of it's, Dan Pena, some of it's some extra, whatever. But I think that psychedelics are the ones that pushed me the way that I went. Because before psychedelics, the only thing I did really was I was into like some gangster type shit. I wouldn't have gave a fuck about any of this. But yet here I am. Back when I knew nothing, I OD'd basically on what could have been fentanyl or heroin when I thought I was doing Vicodin. And I could have died. But luckily, I didn't die. I'm here. And I didn't realize how serious that experience was back then because I was so uneducated on drugs. I didn't know much about drugs. But yeah. Skylar Crooks, I wish I could have business. I have nothing and got laid off on my first week because of Corona after spending every trying to get my job since I got kicked out. I'm starting a business. I started my business with basically $400 to $500. $300 worth of product. Well, I guess you could say like $600. $300 worth of product. I think $100 or like $30 to start the website for the month. $30 for the month. I just bought the labeling, the packaging, the sealant, all this other shit. The gloves, the this, the that, the capsule maker, and I used to sell kratom and sell, things like that, and I'm trying to get back to them. I'm trying to start my herbal business back up. Then I'm trying to, eventually invest in this CBD company, which eventually I'm trying to make into a tea shop, which would probably be like a kratom tea shop. I don't know. I've had this idea for a tea shop and a kava bar for a long time now, and I think I want to mix it in with a CBD thing where we make like CBD tea, and but I gotta figure out ways to get this done. But I have so many ideas, but I'm have to put that on the back burner for a second because I have to work on steps. So I have to get my kratom business up first, and then go from there. But yeah. I'm probably going to be selling motherwort extract and all these other things because I want to make it easier for people to have a lot of these plants to work, because a lot of people tell me like they don't know how to get these things to work for them. They've tried Blue Lotus, it didn't work, or they tried motherwort and it didn't really work, or they tried this and it didn't really work. If you can get a good extract, you can have a dose where you can dose it correctly, where you can just be like, okay, we'll just take 4 of these capsules, or take one of this, 1 gram capsule, or well, it's like really like a 7.5 can fit in one of those. But that of a motherwort extract that I make is a basically breakthrough dose. I've described motherwort as in, 200 milligrams of that extract is like a nice vibe, just comfortable, huggy, lovey, just feel, I don't know, to it. 400 is a little more starting to get sedating, but not really there. But still, like, you're starting to get there. Almost kind of reminds me of an edible. But like, I've explored with motherwort for a while, and I talk about motherwort a lot because, most people don't even look at it as a psychoactive substance or anything like that. But I talk about it a lot because it's generally one of my favorite substances. It's generally in my top 3 out of plants for all-time plants. I don't know about considered it's not considered psychedelic. So if I was to have a top 5 favorite psychedelics and a top 5 favorite plants, motherwort would be in the top 3 of the favorite plants, because it's that impactful. It was that, yeah, I love it that much, to the point where I go around, in my area around here, it grows naturally. So the other day I just picked some wild motherwort leaves, put enough of them in the pot, brewed it for 4 or 5 hours, and then drank it. And then the next day, I added some lemon balm extract and some ginger to it, and then drank that. Because I think for me, this has just become a lifestyle. I don't think about it when it comes to plants and herbs. I just live the lifestyle. So like, I know what I'm doing. I know there's some plants that you can take every day, like lion's mane mushroom. I used to take every single day, and I want to get back to that, and I'm going to get back to that. Chaga mushroom I took for 6 months, just to see what it did. There's multiple plants and extracts I took for multiple extended periods of time, just in a way kind of plant dieting with the plants, getting to know them individually. But the one difference between me plant dieting and a shaman plant dieting is I always smoke cannabis. So I've been smoking weed through every experience that I've had with everything. So every experience I've ever had technically has always been a synergy with cannabis. So I've only had one psychedelic experience that didn't have cannabis. I've only had one, like, there's just very few experiences where cannabis isn't there. I'm always smoking cannabis. I just basically took you can say like a 6, 7, 8 month cut down. So for 8 months now, I kind of cut down on smoking drastically. And 2 weeks ago, I just got back into smoking regularly, like smoking like kind of constantly, like always being really high, like smoking wax. And I haven't smoked shatter or wax or anything like that in like over a year. And but that's because now that I got a job, because, well, a lot of people lost their job in the quarantine. I got a job during the quarantine. I didn't have a job for 2, 3 years, all else was failing in life, but then shit worked out because I got a job, and now I can save money to invest. And then once I can invest, I can, I won't necessarily need to save money necessarily as much as it is make more investments, because that's the thing. I want to be able to, I've lived this whole thing with this whole psychedelic awakening. The problem is I went from being a wannabe gangster before psychedelics, just wanted to be a rapper, and I wanted to be gangster. I wanted to be that hard motherfucker because that's who I was, right? And at the time, that's just who the fuck I was. But then psychedelics turned me around, right? But fuck, I forgot what the fuck I was saying because I'm so goddamn high. One of those high moments. But yeah, bro, everyone needs high amounts of information, and it seems like you're hella informed. I try to be hard as I can, bro, but that's why I'm here right now, is to be educated. You could go big giving harm reduction information. I feel like because my thing with what I want to do is like give seminars and shit, but with the coronavirus out nowadays, that's kind of impossible for me to try to start now. But so like this is the closest thing to that type shit that I'll ever get. But harm reduction for me is, it's like, man, I wish people had more. I hate to say it so bluntly, but I wish people had more common sense, because for me, if I didn't have common sense, I get bit in the ass, and I feel like that's the best way. But then that's kind of dangerous, because then what if you end up in the hospital or some other shit, But It's all just about being educated. I I'd recommend Terrence McKenna to everybody to the point where sometimes people get annoyed. It's like, well, they're like, well, you recommended Terrence last time. Well, did you listen to him? No. Okay, well, go listen to Terrence. Like, that's how I got it at first. Or at least just listen to trip reports, do research. If you have something you want to do, type it in on Google, look through the Wikipedia, type in, try look. A lot of times on Wikipedia nowadays, there's the molecules in Wikipedia, and then you can type in the individual molecules to see what molecules are inside of it. And then if Wikipedia doesn't have the information, you highlight the molecule name, and then you type that in on Google. And if Google doesn't have information, what I do is I go to the fucking deep web and type that shit on the deep web and find information. I do whatever it takes to find information because I refuse to have information hidden from me. A lot of times, like like I've fucking it's just that's what you have to do what you got to do, right? The rabbit hole will take you so far. I had no idea nobody knows how far the rabbit hole goes, but all I know is it's taken me so far that I had no idea it would taken me this far, in a good way but also in a weird way. And I'm definitely not who I used to be, but also I definitely don't fit in with the same crowd I used to fit in with either. Being a wannabe thug technically my whole life, in a way, that's where I was going towards my whole life since I was like 9, 10, 11. So it's like, to immediately not, it's like this weird thing of me realizing, okay, I'm more me now than I was then, but at the same time, the people around me don't see that. So that's why a lot of people think psychedelic people are crazy and psychedelics change you, but they don't change you. They give you the option to change, but they just show you reality. The problem is that we're brainwashed to think that the world that we're in right now is this is what it is, and this is how it's supposed to be, and this is how it's always been, but it's not true. The Western world has us brainwashed. The fact that we need to go to work, we work for major corporations, all this other shit. I suggest everyone try to start their own business. You can go to, there's websites to go to start your own LLC. You can start your own corporation. You can start your own whatever the fuck. With all you need is I think all you need is $400 to start your own LLC, which that's all I need to do to relaunch my Kratom business, right? It's like $400 to get the LLC. And I built the website myself, so built the website, pay for the website to get it back up, get the bags, and everything, packaging, cleanliness now. I have an idea to send little hand sanitizing wipes with the Kratom package so they can wipe it down of the people that are kind of iffy because of the virus and shit, because there's a lot of people that I work at a store and it's like these people are scared out of their minds. Now I'm not. I walk around without a mask. I only wear a mask in work, but because I don't give a damn. I'll be fine. Oh yeah, my Instagram is MarkDreams25. Dreams with an S, but MarkDreams25. Yeah. Damn guys, it's 4 a.m. where I'm at. It's insane. I've been streaming for 2 hours. I'm probably gonna get up out of here. If you guys got weed, I'm gonna take one last hit with you guys. So fuck, hold on real quick. See my phone. Woo. All right. I don't know. If you guys are still in here, like maybe I'll stay because I'm really not. I'm not tired. I don't have shit to do tomorrow. I don't work tomorrow. Yesterday I was up until 6 in the morning just doing nothing, anyways, right? And fucking, Sky says I always want to be thug since I can remember. Maybe it's because I knew what my dad was, but I'm glad I'm a psych person now. I still need the Instagram. What's the site's name then, or you're still setting the business? Well, the site's name was sacredsensation.com, but it's down. So I need to, all I need to do is pay for it and put it back up, but I have no product. So I ran out of inventory is the reason. I still have my business license. That's the reason why I'm able. My friend wants to help me with this business venture. It's his idea to do the CBD thing, but I want to help him because I have my business license. I can help him. I know a little more about business than he does. And with me making business mistakes in the past, I know what not to do. So like, I know that, I don't have to, make the same mistake again. And this is going to be a little different because it's going to be originally his idea is like have like a CBD shop, like a typical CBD shop where you come in, you see that there's a bunch of CBD products on the wall and CBD products over there, over there. He explained how he noticed that all the CBD shops around where we live have like basically empty shelves in a nutshell. Like they got things on the shelf, but it doesn't look like a weed store. And we were explaining how a lot of the CBD shops around here don't even have CBD flower in it. So like we would have a bunch of beautiful CBD flower, posted in these, jars and have it look nice and have it, a CBD shop, but have it look no different than a typical real cannabis weed shop. But, these ideas, he has a little more funding, and that's why he said he's trying to do this now. Like he's trying to fund it now. So he's getting ready to like buy the product now, and he wants me to just put the Sacred Sensation label on it, and we're gonna get our product in the Arab stores around here and the convenience stores around here. But that's just to get things started until I get the website up, until I still get things flowing. But that's because we both want to start making extra money. Like I feel like psychedelics, the problem with psychedelics is they made me not give a fuck about money whatsoever. I went down the path so deep that I had these conflicting ideas of like, is money doesn't matter, but money does matter. Money doesn't matter, but money does matter. It's like, it was like this conflicting, well, I have a family, so money definitely matters. That's what I came to the conclusion of. If I did not have a family, then maybe money wouldn't matter as much because the only person I'm hurting is myself. But since I do have a family, money matters a lot more because the people I'm hurting more than myself. And if I had more money, I can help my family more. I can help more people more. I can do more, With more resources, you can build more buildings. With more resources, you can build more empires. You can help more people. You can, I wanted to open a head shop combined with a dispensary because everyone has to go to two different places, but mine could be one stop. Right. I kind of want a similar thing, but except like, because, THC weed's not necessarily legal in New York yet to sell like in shops like that. So it would just be CBD. But my idea is to basically mix it with a cafe, basically. Mix it with a cafe, so it's tea shop. Have cafe and tea, and yeah. Because I would want people, come in. We'd also have like a little diner, a little food on the menu. We'd have food on the menu and things like that. Like there's these ideas that I'm trying to get into thing, and that idea, I'm trying to get that done within 2 years. Within 2 years, I'm trying to have actually progress with that. But I'm doing it with someone else, and we might get someone else involved as well. So like that's 3 people that can put their heads together. And that's what I learned in starting my first business. It was all me. It was just me alone by myself. And I realized you need a team. Like you definitely need a team. I've wanted to open a headshop. Okay. The universe says I started burning money with the intent of having money. Like I have been broker than a motherfucker. Like, but I've always been broke. I grew up broke. Like, and it was just kind of me and my mom. So like, I grew up with kind of just broke and on food stamps and welfare, typical shit, and that's how we survived. But so the things in my mentality is I've realized that I have a poor man's mindset, and that the thing is that I need to look in the mirror and change my mindset. If I can look in the mirror and change my mindset, then I can change my mindset from poor man's mindset to rich man's mindset. That's why I started researching entrepreneurship, listening to different entrepreneurs, watching what they do, watching how they move, watching what they say, watching what they think, right? Because observing, if you don't, I heard Dan Pena say, like, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, even Dan Pena and a bunch of other people like them, if success leaves clues. And Dan Pena was talking about how if you are nothing like them, then that should tell you something. If the people who are successful all have something in common, right? They all have this thing, this drive, this dedication, this passion, this grit, this just, because in a sense, I'm hard as fucking like Dan Penny was saying, they're all hard as nails, and I'm like, well, I'm hard as fucking nails, right? Nothing, like, I don't give a fuck what people think about me, but I do, but I don't. Like, it's one of these paradox moments where, like, I love and care about what people think, and I want to grow and evolve. But when it comes to hatred and negativity and just hating, and I don't really give a shit, right? It doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect me. People's negative opinions of me I don't lose sleep over. But I'm just hard as nails because I can go through dramatic trauma and just walk through like nothing. That's just me. Some people can't do that, and I just think, success does leave clues. And, as much as I'm like that, I'm like me, because there's parts of me that, it's just when you find yourself. That's the thing with the psychedelic path. I thought I was just on a psychedelic path, but really, psychedelic path makes you realize you're not on a psychedelic path. You're living. You're doing what you were supposed to do. It's gotta be. Scholar Cook says, wait, hold on. I have a really good question for you. Scholar Cook says, I've heard about 2CB, 2CBE, I think it is. Have you tried it? I don't know if you're talking about 2CB or 2CB Fly, but 2CB Fly might be legal in a gray area. I've been thinking about ordering it because there might be a website where I can get it in a gray area on the clean nut. But I just think, my problem is just finding a reliable fucking source of things like that. Well, then, I really want to try 2CB, 2CE. I want to try, a few other, like DXM. DO. I want to try DOM, but I also want to try pure DXM. That's another thing. But like these are the mescaline derivatives in a way, but what's going on, marijuana community? One hit from Mark. I'll take a hit. Which got packed the bong up. So this bong right here is the first bong I've smoked that didn't have wax in it. But I'm just too high right now to put the wax on it. It's about to be 4:20 too where I'm at, right? It's gonna be 4 because it's 4:13 right now, a.m. Man, I'm high as fuck. Marijuana community says, "What is the best sleep or chill?" What do you mean? For me, the best sleep or chill is a nice some weed right before bed and chill. No, but ooh. Scholar Crooks, deep web, but I have to wait to friends on legal age to open the PO box. Damn, legal age. That means you're young. I didn't start down the psychedelic path until I was 20 years old. Well, first time I tried salvia, I was 18. Because I bought it for my birthday, but didn't do it until a little later. To like that coming January. DXM was one of my first drugs. I used to drink it from Robitussin, but that's a bad way to do it. A good way to do it is try to find a way to do a cold water extraction, or not necessarily cold water, but an extraction. Or I have a vendor where I can just get pure DXM. So I've been thinking about doing that. But I really want to try ketamine too. I've been interested in trying ketamine. Ever since seeing that Hamilton Morris video documentary series thing he has, ketamine's interested me. He still couldn't interest me in PCP. I will never do PCP. He still can interest me in that. But the ketamine, yeah, he kind of got me with the ketamine. What marijuana community? What have you taken to make you feel relaxed instead of weed? Instead of weed, so if you want to just sleep with no high, valerian root, L-theanine. I guess L-theanine kind of has a high to it, but not really. What else? I think, I guess lemon balm. That's all I can think of right now off the top of my head because I'm high as fuck right now. But there's a lot of things I've taken or experimented with trying to go to sleep or help me go to sleep or things like that. Motherwort, obviously, like a nice cup of motherwort before bed is just nice and relaxing. That can help you go to sleep. Yeah. Those are things that I've done that have just helped me sleep or go to sleep. And there's probably more that I keep trying to think about, but I can't think about at the moment because I'm really high. It's about to be 4:20. I guess I'll put a little wax in here. The shadow is so beautiful colored. Oh, you guys probably hear that. Let me get this shadow off without shattering the shadow. Fuck yeah. Woo. So, I hope you're getting your bowls ready because it's 2 minutes away from 4:20 where I'm at. Wax this. Oh shit, now it's 4:19. I don't know if you guys can see that. Some beautiful wax, right? Beautiful golden. It smells amazing. So, got your bowls ready? Ooh, because it's about to be 4:20. Four 20 is kind of when I started smoking like this again. Because why the fuck not? Well, it's 4:20, so. Jesus. That was a giant fucking hit. It's like the cough was delayed or something. Ooh. 4:21 a.m. That's crazy. I've been live streaming for 2 hours and 25 minutes. Cool. I'm really high. Like, Scholar Crooks. Anyone think about drinking a lot? I did for 24 days straight of whiskey and sourpuss and had a scary immersive dreams after I stopped 3 nights in a row. My brain took a toll in my bladder and kidney. Now, I have this view with alcohol. I don't ingest alcohol ever whatsoever. Last time I ingested alcohol was 2015. I've only been drunk 2 times in my life, and I've drank alcohol about 10 to 15 times in my life, but I've only been actually drunk 2 times in my life. And the last time I thought was just uncomfortable, and I thought that it was you know what's weird? This is the funniest thing. Y'all might get a laugh out of this. I've done so many different psychedelics. I've done so much different shit and so many different extracts and so many different plants, whatever. But alcohol is the only drug that scared me because it's the only drug that ever made it so the me in my head started getting fuzzy. I couldn't think as good or as whatever. Like me when I'm tripping on LSD, at least I'm a little mad in the mind when I'm on LSD, but at least I'm still me, but more enhanced. LSD, I mean, alcohol doesn't necessarily enhance. And the only time I would ingest alcohol is really, 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 really small amounts in like a tincture or something, where it's like so concentrated that I don't even have to ingest more than 2 droppers, full, to get a really, really, really strong dose. And I would make sure it was a really concentrated, extract. But even a tincture, I feel the need, I wouldn't even ingest a tincture. If I bought a tincture, I would literally just take the tincture out the jar, put it in a glass pan and put it in the fucking oven, for on low for a while until it's dried, until the alcohol evaporates away. And then you have the extract because I'm not searching for alcohol. I'm searching for the molecules inside of the alcohol. Back in the day, it was a little different because, the Europeans kind of started drinking alcohol. And when the Europeans intermixed with the Native American culture, the Native Americans, their belief was you should never drink alcohol that doesn't have a plant in it. So like no liquors, no, you know, so like in their mind, I guess beer would be okay, wine would be okay, um, you know, but things like that. But I guess they would think that like something like vodka or something like a hard liquor would need a plant extract in it because they believe that the alcohol, hard liquor, is a soul extractor. Because if you take a plant, this is just their logic, right? You take a plant like cannabis, you take weed, you put it in alcohol, you let it soak in alcohol, and you then drink it, and then drink the alcohol, you get psychoactive effects, right? If you put any plant into alcohol, you get the psychoactive effects of the plant, or at least the alcohol extractable molecules that are in the plant. But if it's brewed in there, brewed at a temperature wise, you can get at least cannabis to work, or if you put just wax in the thing, you can get it to work, because it's already activated, but there's different ways of doing, things like this, but just my personal belief, like, I don't think that there's anything wrong with alcohol necessarily. It's just obviously not a shamanic tool, and I only do. I had a weird thing with LSD at one point. That's why I still have this weird thing with alcohol, right? At one point, I used to think that, if it's not a tryptamine, then stay away from me. That's all I want. I don't want to do any other psychedelic. I don't want to do any other thing. I used to think MDMA was fucking meth. I used to think that I was uneducated at one point. But eventually I got educated to realize no, these things, whatever. But I still have, the thing is, the more educated I get, the more I start to realize that there's no need to drink alcohol because alcohol attaches to the GABA receptors. I know of multiple other plants that attach to the GABA receptors, and when done at lower doses, feel similar to alcohol. So, there's just, I prefer other molecules, This is one of the molecules I prefer. This shit really is so beautiful. I wish this camera was better. But like, the way it just glistens in the light and shit. It smells so good. There's no point in showing you this nug because this camera's not even good enough to show you the nug. But nug is fucking beautiful as well. It's a big ass nug too. Man, I'm really high. Like, I don't know if y'all are this high, but like, yeah. Life's been interesting for me. I'm so high that I could probably just ramble forever. Like, it's 4:30 in the morning, and like it's one of those times where it's like, well, what else would I do? You know, this LSD, like alcohol feeling, not even close. Alcohol feeling is weird, dizzy, foggy, forgetful, childlike, not thinkable experience, a mind retractable experience. LSD is a mind expanding experience. It expands the consciousness, awakens the human potential to be able to see what it's been missing, because alcohol kind of numbs you. LSD is one of those things where it kind of like loves you. It's a completely different vibe. That's why you see psychedelic hippies in the 60s who did LSD. It's like everyone was more love and peace. It's all about peace, love, and and serenity and all that other shit. It's like there's a reason, because that's what the psychedelics are trying to teach us. They're trying to teach us these, these certain ways of being, and LSD has a bad rap. It has a bad name, but I don't understand why, because alcohol should have a bad name. But the only reason alcohol doesn't have a bad name is because it's glorified in movies. It's glorified in reality. It's like glorified everywhere. So it's like, it's just the norm. And LSD has been kind of put as the weird thing, but it's not like that. They're just different. It's just completely different. I have 210. So you have 210 microgram tabs of acid. Should I do half a tab for my first time? For my first time, I just took one. I just took one. As long as you are have a trip sitter. I would have a trip sitter, but I just took one. I think. I don't fucking know, to be honest. My first time, my friend Nature gave me like a strip of it in a way. And I don't know if it was a 10 strip, a 5 strip, or just one hit. I have no clue. But he gave me and it was probably one of my most profound experiences. So maybe it was, a decent amount. But oh damn, I got wax on my lighter and shit. But I gave my girl for my girl's first experience for her 21st birthday. She had a just one hit, but it's one good tested. Always test your substances, like always test your substances, because it's not just always test your substances because whatever. It's just you want to know what you're taking. I have friends that do cocaine. I've never done cocaine. I never will. But I have friends that do cocaine, and it's like I was asking them, "Are you sure you're doing cocaine? Like, are you like how much? How much cocaine? What else are you doing? Is that's in there? You know, like we people don't know because so many drugs are cut in the streets. You know what I mean? And it's like, uh, I just think you should test what you're doing, no matter what type of drug addict you are. If you're a drug addict, if you're a normal person that just likes to do, drugs on the weekends, I don't know. If you just like to drink on the weekends, that's your thing, then do your thing. If you like to do MDMA on the weekends, that's your thing, do your thing. If you like to trip on the weekends, do your fucking thing. Um, but yeah, I got so high, kind of forgot where I was going with that. But I guess what I'm saying is, yeah, I'm high. Marijuana community. L-tryptophan didn't work on me. Maybe I need more pills in my system or go wrong. But L-tryptophan is, or you're probably talking about 5-HTP. 5-hydroxytryptophan is not a psychoactive substance. You barely feel it. You barely feel anything. It's not about feeling anything with L-tryptophan. It's more about replenishing your serotonin in your body, getting your serotonin levels up to a nice level because serotonin is an extremely important molecule. And I mean, a lot of people in the MDMA community take 5-HTP a day or the day after an MDMA experience, right? They never take it during the same day because it's dangerous. But back to the Datora thing, anyone who does it would have to have no job because you trip very, very. You can trip for a while. No, I mean, it depends on your mind state. I mean, I have a job, but like I've tripped hard for a while. Like I was in a psychosis. I was working at this job at this pizza shop for 4 years, okay? And some crazy shit is I was in a fucking psychosis for a month one time where I don't even know how I wiped my own ass. Not to get too fucking personal or whatever, but I don't even know how I wiped my own ass. And I'm just sitting there thinking about it today, and it's like people were telling me how I was acting, and thinking about it, I kind of remember how I was acting, but it was like a weird state of being completely like, all I remember from those times is DMT space. I don't remember being in this world. And those were irresponsible times. But at the same time, I learned a lot from those irresponsible times. And I could have, what people would say is quote unquote, lost my mind. But in a way, it helped me understand DMT space. Now, at this job, I had to make pizzas, so I have no clue how I was making pizzas. I was at the job telling everybody about DMT. So I was working at this job for 4 years. Obviously, people come and go. I had 8 people that I worked with smoke DMT with me, right? And sadly, one of them that, one of them I knew since 3rd grade, and he's one of them that smoked DMT with me. He died from opiates, and it's just, it's sad how opiates got to a lot of people, but because I lost 8 people from the opiate epidemic. But it's just the way it is, it's like life is crazy, but I think that there's some substances that are here to save us. And I think there's some substances that are here to enslave us. But I think that we're getting to a point where we, are starting to get more educated. People are starting to ask more questions. That's how you get more educated. You gotta, because I keep trying to tell some of my friends, and like a lot of people are just scared. And don't be scared to chase your dreams. A lot of people are scared to fail. Like, what if it doesn't work? My friend wants to start a business, but he doesn't because he's scared it's going to fail. It's like, well, if you have the money right now, just do it. Doesn't matter. If you lose the money, well, don't you know how to make more money? I mean, you can always make more money. Um, you're running things that you can't do is you can't have redos on your dreams in a way. So if you never took that chance, you will regret that one day. You know, that one, even when you're old as fuck, you can still find a way to make money. Um, whether you could speak or do anything or do your thing or whatever, you still find a way to make money. But when it comes to chasing the thing that sets your soul on fire, which for me, that was the psychedelic path, which led me to plants and herbs, which led me to starting an herbal uh, online shop where I sell kratom and getting ready to sell kratom, motherwort, blue lotus, kava, other things like that. Um, which then got me to thinking about expanding, which now I'm getting ready to expand after I failed at that business. Um, it's like this has all happened within the past 6 years. Like the past 6 years has been the most insane 6 years because so much has happened in a short amount of time that it's like absolutely insane. But it's been a trippy ride, I'll tell you that. Even the sober times have been trippy as fuck. Like, it's crazy. Yes, testing. If you take a tab of LSD and test it, it ruins it. That's why you only need, like, if this piece of wax paper was LSD, this you would only need to like rip off like that, like a little bit, and like put that little bit in the test thing and test it, and bam. Now the part you test is garbage, but you'd still have the hit of L that has a rip in it though. But so it's not going to be as strong as the other hits, but whatever. But at least you know your shit's real, and it'll be purple. Like with weed, I love weed because you don't have to fucking do that with weed. There's a few substances you don't have to test. Like you obviously don't have to test mushrooms because if you know what psychedelic mushrooms look like, you know what they look like. I trusted my friend and just no. I guess you could trust your friend as long as whatever, but at the same time, you never know. You can get an LSD derivative, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'd much rather get, because even a test kit. The problem is with these test kits is they test for lysergamides. So if there's another lysergamide on the uh, blotter paper, it wouldn't be able to decipher it from LSD. But it's safer though because most of the time there's not going to be other lysergamides because other lysergamides have the name of them on the back of them. Like if you have 1-PLSD or ALD52 or uh, you know, LSZ, these things have usually the name on the back of them. But it's like those are LSD derivatives, and those are out there too. But there's a lot of things out there. But testing your substances is just the safest way at this point in time in life, unless you are the one, unless you know exactly where the fuck it's coming from. Like, unless you know the guy that's making the shit. Like, if you're that connected, then, let me know. But damn. But, I trusted my friend. Okay. I can't buy magic. No. Mushrooms can't be bought online. You have to buy them from some hippie. Like what I used to tell people is because a lot of people used to ask me, how do you get DMT, how do you get mushrooms, the how do you get the thing question. But I used to give them the answer. You go to a music festival and you ask the hippie guy that's selling mushrooms that you want to buy some mushrooms, because there's many people in a fucking music festival selling LSD and mushrooms, and that's why that's how it goes. But with the whole COVID-19 problem, that ain't how it goes right now. So you gotta find somebody. So you're going to say now Amanita muscaria are completely different than psilocybin mushrooms. Amanita muscaria contain muscimol. Psilocybin mushrooms contain psilocybin. Amanita muscaria work on the GABA receptors, and psilocybin works on the 5-HT2A receptors, which is the serotonin receptors, which is the real psychedelic receptors, I guess you can call them technically. But it just all depends on what you're looking for, right? There's many, many, many different plants and psychedelics out there, right? And there's probably plants and psychedelics that are undiscovered yet, right? So I think that, I think it's called 5-bromo DMT. It's this DMT that's in this water sponge. And if, like, there's chemists, like, if I only knew a fucking chemist, I wish. But, like, if, there was a chemist could make that molecule, you know what I mean? And that's an interesting molecule I'd like to try as well, because that's a, underwater molecule. But I think that these, psychedelics are some of the most interesting substances on the planet. I'm pretty sure I have tried 1P-LSD, yeah. There's these hits I had from my friend, and he was telling me he got them from his friend in California, and that he also had a 1P-LSD. It was probably 1P, so yeah. But 1P-LSD in the body is technically supposed to break down to LSD anyways. They say it might take a little longer to kick in or something like that, but because I think your body breaks down the 1P, off the alkaloid or something like that. But man, I'm really fucking high. I could be out, bro. So 5 o'clock, I'm gonna be out of here. So 15 minutes, I'm gonna get out of here. And 'What do you mean by synthetic DMT? Because DMT is DMT. So, like, synthetic DMT is like, if you have DMT that was made in a lab by combining different chemicals together to eventually get the chemical structure of DMT, or if you have DMT that was extracted from, Mimosa Hostil's root bark or something, it's still DMT. And DMT is DMT. And if smoke DMT was definitely my thing. But okay, I get what you're saying now, bro. Never mind. I guess it's legal to buy. It's I don't know where you're living at, but it's damn sure not legal to buy that shit here. 4-ACO DMT though might be in a gray area, so because 4-ACO might be in a gray area, there's some substances there in this weird gray area that allow us to still partake in them. That's wax. Holy shit. So 15 minutes. Anybody got any questions before I get out of here? 15 minutes. I'm more meditation. Like I smoke THC. I mean, I smoke weed through everything realistically. It's just my preference. Like, if I went down to the Amazon to do ayahuasca, I know they'd probably ask me not to smoke weed, but I would ask them like to try to respect my sacrament, right? They look at tobacco as a sacrament, but I don't smoke tobacco. I smoke cannabis, and that's my sacrament. Or maybe that's why I haven't gone down to the Amazon, because they would want me to stop using my sacrament. And it's not that I've taken many cannabis breaks, so I'm not hesitant on taking a cannabis break. It's just that's my thing. It has been since I was like 15. I started smoking every day nonstop when I was like 15, and I didn't take a cannabis break until I was 22. So from 15 to 22, I smoked every single day, nonstop, basically. Just yeah. A lot of weed back then. Then I slowed down, took my first cannabis break for 2 months, since I was 15. And then, yeah. That's awesome. He's Skylar Crooks 13 here. Still haven't taken a break every day. Fuck yeah. But I don't know. I think once I took a break, it made me realize a lot, because I took a break and became vegan for the first time. So it's like I completely changed the way I was feeling, and that's what allowed me to have a dream. Because I realized without weed, you dream a lot. Weed is what prevents me from dreaming at night or remembering my dreams at night. So being sober back then, I had a lucid dream where I smoked DMT in a lucid dream, and it was just an interesting thing. And yeah. Do you best Minecraft remixes? What's going on? Do you consider weed a psychedelic? I know I've definitely tripped and gotten visuals from edibles before. I was just talking about this the other day because I made myself an edible on 420, and I was talking to my friend about it, and I was talking to my friend how the molecule I wish I had it up, but the molecule changes. Your liver changes the THC molecule. So THC has many forms. When somebody says the word THC, THC gets you high. Yes, it does, but there's multiple forms of THC. THCA, if you eat THCA, you are not going to get high. But if you eat THCV, you will get high. And I think 11-hydroxy THC, I think, is the name of. Now, don't quote me, I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it's 11-hydroxy THC. That is the name of the molecule in an edible. Now, the reason why the molecule is different in an edible, the reason why edibles are more psychedelic-like than smoking weed, is because your liver turns the THC molecule into a completely different molecule. And that's why an edible lasts 8 hours, and when you smoke weed, it does not last 8 hours, But it's interesting. It's just really interesting how our body works with this molecule, and how plants work in general, how our body has grown to evolve to have the capability to even do that to a plant's molecules. It's just so interesting how human beings have evolved next to psychedelics enough to be able to, psychedelics have molecules in them that attach to the 5-HT2 receptors that are in us. Like, we have the molecules for substances that we don't even have. That's why it's like people say you shouldn't do drugs. It's like, well, why the fuck do we have the receptors for? Why do drugs work then? If I mean, yeah, you shouldn't do dumb, dirty fucking drugs. Like, I'll never do meth. Some people, I have friends that do cocaine. That's their choice, but I will never do cocaine. I will never do heroin. I went through a pill stage where I did a bunch of pills and shit, and Xanax and Valium and this and that, and opioids and all this other shit. But like, I'm not doing that shit again. If I ever want to do an opioid, it's gonna be kratom. Like, I have self control now, and that's kind of why like a THC break originally started me just growing because it was all part of the shamanic path. Like everything that has happened to me since I started using psychedelics has been part of the path. Life has become the psychedelic trip itself. Life gives me lessons like psychedelics gave me lessons, and I've gone through more failures than I've gone through successes, and it sucks fucking ass, but it just is what it is, right? But that's what helps me, I feel like, grow, and I feel like that's what can help anybody grow. You can grow through the pain, or you can go through the pain and just let the pain shatter you, or just shatter the fucking pain. you know Yeah, making canned butter is dope. You can also make if you have just normal milk, whole cow milk or whole milk that has fat in it. I guess I don't know if almond milk will work because I don't know if almond milk has enough fat in it. I gotta test that out. But with regular milk, you can just take weed. Well, for me, I took the wax, right, and I put the wax in with the I basically put some milk on the stove, put some wax on in the milk, then put also some ground up weed in the milk, probably about a gram, maybe a gram and a half, maybe, but probably a gram, because there's a decent amount of wax in there, decent amount of shatter, and then I just let that simmer or let that brew on low with the top on it for like 2 hours or so. I should have let it brew a little longer, but because usually I would like to brew it for 4 hours, 5 hours, but it's just I just wanted to drink it, so I drank it, and yeah, it definitely got me high as shit. I'll tell you that. Um, but there's as long as THC just needs a fat substance. That's why alcohol works, because alcohol extracts fats. Um, So that's why THC needs some type of fat substance to extract it. Like yeah, butane. You know, some people use propane. Like, there's a lot of ways to extract THC out, but yeah. See, I make my own edibles. Like I said, I just brew it in a pot with some milk, and put some wax in there with some weed in there, let it brew. Then I'd let it brew with a top on it for 4 or 5, 6 hours, and then it'll really work. But because I feel like buying your own edibles is kind of like it's glamorous, right? It's glamorous. It looks nice, Drinking a tea, a milk tea made from cannabis, it might not taste good, but you can make it taste good. I'm pretty sure, but I don't give a fuck about taste, so I just drink it straight. But like, I'm pretty sure I could, put some syrup, some type of syrup in it, maybe chocolate or peanut butter it up, or with a little bit of uh, sugar and a little bit of maybe some of this and some of that, maybe some marshmallow. I could have decked it all out, but like it, I just wanted to drink it and get high. Fuck yeah, bro. That's why I said at 5 o'clock I was out of here because It's not necessarily like I'm tired. Don't get me wrong, but I'm gonna be up for another hour or two after this. By the time I go to bed, it'll be about 6 or 7. Um, but that's what it's been like for the past 3 nights. I gotta get a lot of shit done. I'm working on a song. I'm working on beats. I'm trying to work on my book. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to balance the finances. I'm trying to get the business ideas out there. And I worked today. I worked from 3 to 8 today. So it's like, you know, dope. All right. Well, appreciate y'all being here, guys. Y'all are fucking awesome. Much love to everybody that's been here. It's been 3 fucking hours. Absolutely insane. Y'all are fucking dope. Longest live stream I've done.